Now let's look at your black smooth graduation in isolation from your colours. Does the good rich black lift off immediately and smoothly into your quarter, half and 3/4 tones? Does the very light grey smoothly graduate into the white of the paper without a line or a fringe? Are there any colour casts anywhere within the smooth graduation? Is there an overall tint of colour within the whole of the graduation? It could be that your paper carries a bit of a colour tint. Now that's fine if that's what you desire, but if you want an absolutely neutral print, we really ought to start with a completely neutral base white colour. Let's look at this image. Because the white base is so pure, the whites here, the whole image looks nicely neutral. Now, if you notice any unwanted effects, you really ought to redo your custom printer profile. Carry out this check on a monthly basis and remember that outside forces affect your computer. Online updates may cause subtle colour and density changes to your print. Changing printer drivers, equipment or updating software can all change colour and density, which usually can only be corrected by reprofiling. Now reprofile your printer free of charge throughout the life of your printer. So if you use their papers or use their inks, everything's free of charge. As a general rule of thumb, if your printer profile is over 6 months old, it is probably not accurate enough for high-end pro photo monochrome printing. In colour, the eye tends to adjust for slight irregularities, but in black and white, there's no hiding place. It either looks fabulous or it cries out from the page. So a generic printer profiles created from another printer to get you in the ballpark of accuracy are not considered to be accurate enough at this level of black and white print production. Our advice is don't use them. The next step is that your monitor, make sure that your monitor agrees to your accurate calibration print produced by your own printer. If not, you can either calibrate your monitor with an on-screen monitor calibrator such as an X-Rite i1 Display Pro, or we've shown here a more basic Colour Monkey spectrophotometer, which does an excellent job. Now, I would recommend that with your display you finally fine-tune to allow for your own specific perception of colour and tone. We all see colour slightly differently, so relying solely on a device may lead you astray slightly, particularly if you're partially colourblind. Your idea of a neutral will not necessarily be the same as my idea of a neutral, and the person that matters on all this is yourself. So if it appears neutral to you and it agrees to the neutral of your print, that's what's important. Now, if your monitor is not up to standard, simply get into the habit of regularly checking that your spot RGB values on in your software are equal using the Get Info eyedropper tool. So if you're not certain about neutral values within your image editing software, use the eyedropper tool and look at the Get Info palette, because if you've got level values there, that'll tell you. And you're looking for level values all around the image. Now, there are many smart adjustment tools in Photoshop and Lightroom which affect different colour channels differently, such as channel mixer, selective colour, channel curves, etc. Use these types of tools with caution. or preferably not at all, when trying to achieve a perfectly neutral print. You can affect changes, and without you quite realising, you can affect the relative values between the red, the green and the blue. So beware of changing things. What I tend to do is, once I've changed things slightly according to my requirements, I'll go back to the actual values and I'll check that all my values are still nice and level. Now the next step, we take an image straight from the digital camera, we size up our RGB 8-bit image according to our spreadsheet. So the spreadsheet that we use is here. Now I like to use every available genuine pixel from our camera. Now this spreadsheet is for the US sizes. You can see that, and we've got another spreadsheet which covers the imperial sizes as well. So what you do is you see what size of camera you have in megapixels, and depending on the size of the print you intend to produce, you select the particular resolution, the pixel per inch resolution, so that you use all of the genuine pixels that your camera has captured. In black and white, this is every bit as important as when you're colour printing. So use your genuine pixels. Now, if the image is ready to print in black and white, do check that the image mode is not in grayscale, because the printer drivers don't particularly like grayscale mode. So if your image is in grayscale, simply change it back to RGB. Modern printer drivers tend to like RGB 8-bit mode. There are exceptions, but in the majority of cases, if you hand over an RGB 8-bit image to your printer and the printer is custom profiled, it should produce an extremely good black and white print. Now, in our next video, we're going to go into a worked example of actually producing a black and white print, and we're going to get into the more technicalities as far as how we're going to change from colour to black and white and so on. Thank you very much for watching.